Yeah, welcome back. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture is projecting this year as a difficult one for government's flagship program, the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative. According to the lead director of the program, Seth Osei-Akoto, the ministry was not able to meet the target for the distribution of fertilizer last year. Now, the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine is going to pose an even greater challenge as Russia is a leading producer of fertilizer. We'll get a thought of the Chamber of Agribusiness in Ghana on this one shortly, but first, take a listen to Mr. Akoto, who spoke at the Soil Health Stakeholder Forum organized by the Israeli Embassy.
Price of fertilizer is set to spike due to the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia was the world's largest exporter of nitrogen products or planting fertilizer in 2021. This, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is forecasting, will affect output of Ghana's Planting for Food and Jobs initiative. Here's Director at Crop Services Directorate, Seth Osei-Akoto.
The volumes of fertilizer that you thought you could distribute last year, you couldn't achieve that. And what is happening in the international market, Russia being a country that produces a lot of fertilizers, with support of Ukraine and other countries. And the imminent war, that is all over the whole world, supplies will be a challenge. And as a ministry, we have anticipated that based upon what happened last year. So instead of putting all our eggs in one basket, you are trying to expand the organic base.
We're joined by Director of Policy and Research at the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Kojo Ahiagba. We're grateful that you could join us. What do you make of this worrying situation coming from the Agri Ministry?
Thank you very much, Bernard, team.
Great. Of course. Want to find out from you, your thoughts. You're listening to the Agri Ministry say the fact that fertilizer prices escalating in the world market. This could really impact the Planting for Food and Jobs program, especially when value chains are going to be disrupted. How do you respond to this?
Thank you very much. Yes, certainly with the ongoing crisis in Russia and Ukraine, and with subsequent sanctions from all parts of the world on Russia, certainly we expect a sort of a global shortage of not only fertilizer, but other commodities that emanate from that area. And that certainly raises concern about growing food costs across the world. And certainly Ghana, as part of the global village, cannot be an exception to these. Russia, as you know, is a low-cost, high-volume global fertilizer producer, and is the second largest world producer of potash, which is a critical ingredient used in major fertilizer productions across the world. And when that happens, with frequent and even more sanctions being added, definitely global fertilizer supply chains are going to be disrupted. And when that happens, we will be highly hit by this situation that keep on worsening day in and day out in Ukraine. Beyond this, the prices of fertilizer also keeps on going up as a result of rising costs of major products across the country, like the recent fuel hikes, the recent cost of energy. There are also, in terms of utility prices, are also going up, and all that add up to the cost of fertilizers and other agro inputs that will really affect the agribusiness sector. And as the Planting for Food and Jobs program, that heavily depend on NPK fertilizer, which potash happens to be one of the major ingredients of this product, is certainly going to affect the program.
Indeed, but could this be a threat to food security? And if so, what remains the practical way out?
Yes, certainly these fertilizer prices will hit high this year, especially on supply chains, especially in the fertilizer supply chains. And if the energy costs keep on rising, the supply is going to be hiking further. Expensive fertilizer costs means that it will limit the application of fertilizer, especially in the Planting for Food and Jobs program, and even for smallholder farmers who make up a chunk of our farmers across the country. What it means is that in the coming months, we should be expecting some level of food shortages and some food security situations across the country. And when that keeps on happening, there will be a need for government to step into more proactive programs and policies that will be able to cushion the fertilizer supply chain, like waiving up certain tariffs on certain types of fertilizers, and even major ingredient for major assemblies. There are There are companies in Ghana that kind of formulate the fertilizers, source the raw materials from countries like China, countries like Morocco, for instance. The OCP company, for instance, have one of the largest reserve of potash. And if that happens, we have to rely heavily on that. One of the things we can also do is also looking at, just like the director of the program mentioned, is also look at more promoting the organic formulation of biofertilizers.
All right.
So we'll be able to cushion the shortfall and the effect of the supply chain disruptions.
Many thanks for joining us, Kojo Ahiakpa, the Director of Policy and Research at the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana. And that's how we wrap up this edition of The Marketplace. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com, where you can see our major business stories. The price of LPG to go up by 5% from today. Well, my name is Charles Aite. Pleasure being with you. Let's do same tomorrow. Please enjoy the rest of our bulletins.